At the halfway point between Waterdeep and Alm, we find the port city of Baldur's Gate. It curves like a great hand of crescent moon around its harbour, and provides a haven for travellers and merchants along the Sword Coast. But how did the city come to be? What great struggles did it go through? Today we shall learn more about the history of Baldur's Gate.
The city is located 20 miles up the river Chiontar. Its walls serve as a port for most traders coming from Alm or Waterdeep, a shining beacon of civilization along the tradeway. The city also boasts a fascinating history and has been the setting for many impactful events of the realms. It was founded when an explorer named Baldur came back from a voyage from Ankarome, where he had found great riches. He commanded that his wealth was spent on building fortifications around the harbor so that his ships had better docking. Baldur set sail before the construction of these walls could be started, and the responsibility was left in the hands of the farmers surrounding the town. They chose to ignore Baldur's command and built a large wall around their farms so that they could tax travelers going up and down the Sword Coast for their own gain. This soon grew to be a profitable enterprise, and what was once farmers now turned into wealthy landowners. Even though the walls did not encompass the wharfs, the lords now started charging a tax on the captains who saw Baldur as a friend and colleague. I'm unsure if it was the pure arrogance of the farmers, or that the captains managed to keep the fact that they were armed and trained secret, but unsurprisingly, a violent uproar started when the captains came demanding coin. The rebellion was swift and bloody, and soon the city had gained some new lords along with its name, Baldur's Gate. The captains of the revolt decided that the town should be ruled by 4 dukes, with one of them serving as a tiebreaker, the Grand Duke. Baldur's Gate prospered after this, soon growing out of the walls and into the harbor. New walls were built, and finally, Baldur's wish was fulfilled. With the rise of this new city, new organizations started to form. Some of them good, like the Merchants League, a brotherhood of merchants dedicated to exploration and honest dealings. The Knights of the Shield, an organization composed of nobles from Baldur's Gate. Their aims: protect the city from harm. The mercenary company the Flaming Fist, also organized in Baldur's Gate. It is one of the strongest and most organized militia in the realms. They serve as the local law enforcement, as well as the secret police for the 4 dukes. Less good organizations were also attracted to Baldur's Gate. The Shadow Thieves of Alm have a strong foothold in the city, and Xanathar's Thieves Guild can also be found without much hassle. In modern day, these organizations are known by the name the Guild, but they are still made up of the same riffraff as before. Baldur's Gate is divided into 3 major areas: the upper, the lower, and the outer city. The upper city is located within the original walls, and here we can find wealthy merchants and the nobility. A tax is employed to keep out the unsavory types in this part of the city, ironic since a revolt against taxes was the reason Baldur's Gate prospered. The lower city is the harbor area, and where most of the lifeblood of Baldur's Gate flows. The Flaming Fist patrol the streets, but any traveler should arm themselves just in case. The outer city is filled with the lower classes and, unfortunately, sees almost no assistance from the central city. While not as lawless as Skullport, you cannot count on a guard protecting you in this area. Baldur's Gate has seen many problems over the ages. Baal has used the city many times in his attempts to resurrect, and during his latest attempt, he succeeded, causing the deaths of thousands. This telling might have painted a scary picture of what Baldur's Gate is, but this might be because history tends to lean towards the bloody and deadly. The Crescent Moon City is a place you should not fear to visit. Its walls will protect all who follow the law, and it is by far the most racially open city that I can recall. Volo claims it rivals Waterdeep in greatness, and who am I to disagree with the great G'darm?
Well, actually, I have a few more bones to pick with him, but more on that next time.